Caledonia, where we are every Tuesday night here, as we are going to talk football with Davenport head football coach Sparky McEwen. And we'll also talk a little volleyball in between, as women's volleyball coach Brian Netzler is joining us tonight to talk a little bit about their outstanding season that they've had so far. And we'll talk about that as well. But last week on the show, of course, we weren't able to talk about the upcoming opponent because you had a week off. We talked a little bit about you gave him a couple of days off there to recuperate from the opening game and got some healing in, you hope. How did the week go for you this week in practice in terms of what you'd hope to accomplish?
You know, it actually worked out in our favor because it was such a physical football game that we had a number of kids that that got banged up and they needed that extra time to heal up. And then we had a couple guys. We had a few players, we had that bug, hit our team. And so we had some guys that really needed the break in order to get back healthy.
Boy, I tell you what, you mentioned the bug, Coach. That is a, bugaboo for all coaches in sports everywhere because the players are together so much on the field, in the locker room, and hanging out socially. What do you do to try to limit at least the effects when you start getting a bug going around the team?
The biggest thing is, we want to make sure that we isolate them from, the players so that, they can get healthy, and they can get rested up. And our trainers do a really good job of monitoring the situation. And we tell our players as soon as, you feel ill, they must contact us and they cannot report to our facility until, our proper individuals there at the university takes a look at them, So it's tough. Everyone goes through it, and it's unfortunate. It's just a tough time. And, actually coming off of COVID, we have a little experience in, guys washing hands and taking care of things extra precautious because we know you could be down for a week or two depending on what you have.
After that long trip to Missouri, you came back smiling with a 20-19 win over Truman State, got the week off, and now you get some legitimate home cooking. 3 straight home games. I don't know that Davenport's ever had 3 straight home games in its football program history, but you got 3 in a row and then 5 out of 6 overall. You're really going to enjoy the friendly confines here.
Going into last year when we had that rough schedule with playing the national champions twice and Grand Valley and, Saginaw Valley all back-to-back, it was really tough. It was taxing on the players, and it was one of those deals for us. We knew on the back end of the scheduling that, we had this type of year coming where we're going to have more home games at home, than on the road. So my hopes is that, our guys understand that, you just need to protect home court and, play your best, games there. And, obviously be able to sleep in your own beds. These are things that obviously, we like.
Well, when we spoke with you last week, Tuesday, you were a couple days just getting back from it, but I'm sure you watched some more tape of the Truman State. Anything jump out at you that maybe you didn't catch the first time you looked at it or the first time you reflected on it that was more obvious the second time you watched it?
We made a lot of mistakes. And, the bye week allowed us to go in and truly clean up some things. We did not even, worry about or think about, the next game. Our focus truly, was on ourselves and getting better because we've got a lot of young people, and then the veterans that we have obviously are guys that we're looking up to make sure that our young guys can understand the tempo we need and the smarts we need in order to move forward with our season.
Well, we're going to talk more about your opponent this Saturday, the first of those 3 straight home games, Northern Michigan University, which you play twice this year in that second segment. But let's just talk in general terms about what it's like, because you had plenty of experience with last year playing the same team twice, once conference and one non-conference.
Yes, and like I was telling you last year, Rick, and you understand this because you've seen my career, and for me, 13 years professionally, I was used to it. Playing conference teams, division teams twice, that was just part of it. Or if you see the same team in the playoffs or something like that. So last year, one of the reasons that we during the COVID year, we signed on with Gannon in a home and home, is because of the possibility of playing a GLIAC opponent twice, to get our kids to understand and to feel, what does that actually feel like, So our boys do a good job. They're very mature about the situation. They know it's a very, very good opponent that we're playing. They know it's one that, this year, as advertised, Northern is expected to have one of their best seasons, in the past year. So, our guys are ready to roll. We need these next couple of days to totally prepare with the game plan. But other than that, they know what we're up against.
In that first game, you only rushed for 42 yards, which is not what you wanted. It felt like you had a little more success than that in running the ball, but still 42 is not what I know you want as a team.
No, not at all. But, we knew it was going to be a tough affair against them. And we also knew that, with Khalif running the ball, that he was going to be a tough takedown, okay? And it was going to be a physical match there. But we also felt like in that Truman game that, there were some things in their secondary that we could exploit. And we felt that, their defensive line was going to give us an issue in the run game. But we also felt that we could protect, and we, for the most part, reasonably, we did a pretty good job protecting. And it gave both our quarterbacks some time to get the ball downfield to some playmakers.
Speaking of playmakers, we talked about some of them last week, but let's maybe mention a couple of guys we didn't mention last week's show. We talked about your outstanding receiving tandem of Cy Barnett and Preston Smith, but you've got Roy Livingston and Justin Pope that are going to be big parts of this offense as well as others.
Yeah, Pope was, when you asked me what were some things that when we went back and looked at the film, he graded out extremely well. He had a good game for us, and, this year we have the emergence of the tight end. Rick, and, speaking with you, I've always told you that we got to find some tight ends. And we got one we think that's pretty good. He does a really good job. He's a great leader, great physical run blocker, and then he does a reasonably good job in the pass catching department. So Justin was a bright spot in that game, and we look forward to having him moving forward. And then with Roy was our leading returning receiver. And now, we were able to go out there and get Roy some help, with Cy and Preston. So, we've got, we got the makings of something pretty solid. We got some work to do yet, but these early stages of the season, I'm pleased that right now.
Is it something at this stage where you're starting to add offensive plays to the playbook, or is what you had at the beginning pretty much what you're focused on for the rest of the year?
Well, depends on who you ask. If you talk to my offensive coordinator,
Coach Russell.
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job, but he has a menu, as long as my arm on his call sheet. And finally for me, I get someone, on the staff that actually has more plays in the playbook than myself. So, but it's funny because we go back and forth talking about, plays that we're going to cut, going into certain games. And for the most part, when you cut plays, it has more to do with the players. Okay, we don't want to put too much on these young men. As coaches, everything works, but then as the week goes on, we see that there's things that we just cannot, put into the game plan because we're not executing to the point where we need it.
Well, sometime this year, hopefully you bring Coach Devin Russell out here. We'll have him on as one of your special guests.
He's going to love it. He loves this place right here. He loves the pizza here, and he'll be excited about coming.
Speaking of which, why don't we get you back over there? Your wife and other Davenport table are going to join. We're talking a little volleyball. They're off to a great start, the women's volleyball
They're
team.
doing great. We follow them, and actually this year, during the summer when it was so hot, we invited them over for ice cream with us, and the gals do a great job, and they're off to a great start.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back and speak with Coach Netzler and the Davenport volleyball team. So stay with us. The Davenport Coaches Show continues here on the Davenport Athletics Network.
West Michigan homebuyers, if you're considering lenders, please contact Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
Go ahead, Brian, put
it's
that
a
in
wonderful time to be in the market for a mortgage when you choose Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
I can't fix it now.
Van Dyke's loan experts know how to help you prepare and help you get approved. Don't wait for the market to be perfect. Start your planning with Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
Mario Flores, NMLS number 135862. Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp. NMLS number 3035. 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
That's your headphone level right there. Okay. And we welcome back the Davenport Coaches Show. We're going to be coming back with Coach McEwen and talk a little bit more specifically about the opponent this Saturday, Northern Michigan University, and the home opener, 12 noon. So get out there and get your tickets online at dupanthers.com, and we'll see you out there. Right now, we're going to switch gears, talk about the women's volleyball team at Davenport, off to a terrific start, 8-3. And 1-1 in conference play. Haven't played a home game yet, for crying out loud. We welcome Coach Netzler here. Brian, that's a pretty good mark considering you haven't had a home game yet.
Thanks, Rick. Yeah, it's been a journey. We started the season down in Florida for 4 matches, went 3-1 down there, and then we went to Malone University for 4 matches, went 4-0 there, and then we just started off the UP trip and got a split up there. We beat number 19 in the country, Michigan Tech, in 5 on their home floor. They're the defending regular season champs. Lost a tough one on Saturday to Northern Michigan. The good news is it's a double round robin this year, so we get to see everybody again. So we'll get them back.
So you knocked off. They were 19th ranked Michigan Tech at the time there. That had to be again a boost. But I think the biggest boost probably is you dropped a real competitive tough one against Embry-Riddle from Florida in that first. But then you rattled off 7 straight wins, and we kept hearing more and reading more about it. This team's building momentum.
Yeah. We're pretty senior laden. We've got some returners back that have played quite a bit of volleyball for us. Added some newcomers either via transfer portal or freshmen, and I'm really pleased with this team thus far.
You mentioned the blending of the veterans with the newcomers. I know coaches often do things off the court, off the field, that helps develop that. What do you do specifically in your program to help that blending of the experienced and the inexperienced? Yeah,
I mean, it helps when they enjoy each other. Like some of these ladies that are here tonight, they live with one another, they enjoy one another. Last night they had a team dinner, just over at one of the ladies, one of the other student athletes' apartments. We took that trip to Florida to, spend some time together as well. We had a beach day down there, and actually we've had 2 beach days thus far. We stopped down at, had a day at the Atlantic Ocean, but we also stopped at Lake Superior and dipped our toes in the water last week on Thursday on our drive up there.
Were you at Daytona? Is that where you were?
We were at Flagler with St. Augustine.
St. Augustine,
yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Great experience, though, for the young ladies. By the way, they're not trying to harass you. We've got a little lighting issue. They're actually using their phones to help us with our lighting issue, trying to make you look good. We're trying to find your good side. We haven't found it yet,
okay,
Coach. All right?
Got it.
Again, one of the things that we hear coaches talk, the challenges is the how it affects the family life and that, and the spouse. But you've got an advantage there because your spouse is your assistant coach. Tell us about your wife.
Yeah, Rachel's our part-time assistant here at Davenport. Since we got here, 4 seasons ago, she's been on board with us, and so it makes it fun. We go down to Flagler and, get on the flight, and Rach gets to go with, and, Mason, our little 3-year-old, gets to go as well, and, we made it a family thing, and we enjoy that. We want us to be a family away from home for our athletes, and so, what better way than to have your spouse along for the ride?
In your time at Davenport, after serving as assistant and now you then became a head coach and now here with Davenport, one of the things that keeps jumping out is you're excelling at service aces. I'm sure that, again, I apologize, I don't know your sport that well, but what do you do that produces such success? Because you're GLIAC leading in and out right at or near the top in service aces every year.
It's a really important skill. It's a skill where, you can get teams out of system and not be able to run their offense as efficiently if you do serve them tough. And so, I think it's just something where, we try to instill confidence in them to get back there and, grip it and rip it and just get after it and be aggressive. And, let's if we're going to hit somebody, let's knock them down. And if we're not going to hit somebody, let's hit some open space and really have to make them move to pass the ball.
Brian, you spent 7 years with the Volleyball Academy, the Michigan Volleyball Academy. How did that formulate you as a head coach, and what did you take from that helps you today?
Well, during that time, I was also assisting at Grand Valley State, and I think there's every stop along the way. It's been, you just learn. You learn and grow, and if you don't, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So I think, I've been very fortunate with a ton of mentors along the way. My time, when I was in Tennessee with my former head coach, Coach Mott, she was a phenomenal, mentor for me. Coach Condon at Miami, Coach Scanlon over at Grand Valley during that time. Just a lot of people that have lent a helping hand to me, and I'm so fortunate and grateful for that.
Yeah, and what's it like now? Again, you're been away from it a while now, but is it still special to you when you go up against Grand Valley, or is it? Oh, we passed that.
Well, my full-time assistant, Coach Mateus, is Coach Scanlon's daughter, and so she played at Grand Valley, and so we've got some built-in just some rivalry there. They are a crosstown rival, but there's other coaches. I've got a former teammate that's the head coach at Northern Michigan as well, and so I think all of them are big in the GLIAC, especially this year. It's more competitive than it's ever been before. So
well, we mentioned you're finally getting some home cooking this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Tell us about the matches this Friday and Saturday and what you're looking for.
Yeah, we've got Saginaw Valley coming to town on Friday, and we play at 7 o'clock. They're 2-0 in conference right now. They beat Lake Superior State on the road and Wisconsin Parkside at home. So they're going to be a formidable opponent. And then on Saturday, we have Wayne State coming to town after the football game. We play at 5 o'clock, and they're a team that made it to the GLIAC semifinals like we did last year. They made it to the NCAA tournament. They've got some experience back too. So, it's going to be a doozy of a weekend. But we're so pumped to be at home finally after about a month on the road.
So that's 7 o'clock this Friday against Saginaw Valley at home at Davenport. So get out there and cheer on the volleyball team after that terrific 8-3 start, 1-1 in conference play. And as he said, as Coach mentioned, they're going to play at 5 o'clock on Saturday against Wayne State, so that's after the football game. So Panther fans, especially the students, just head on from the football stadium, head over there, and then cheer on the volleyball squad this Saturday. Brian Netzler, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure visiting with you, and congrats on a terrific start to the year. I know there's a lot of work and a lot of things still to be gained, but you're off to a great start.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, we'll take a break, come back and talk about this week's football opponent with Coach McEwen. Just listen to and watch the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore's commitment to finding the right home loan for you is second to none. The experienced licensed smooth and timely mortgage process from application to closing. Mario Flores, branch manager of Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore, has access to a full range of mortgage products so that you get the right loan with a great rate, the terms you're looking for, and costs to meet your unique needs. Call Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 today and experience the Van Dyke Mortgage difference.
Mario Flores, NMLS 135862, Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp NMLS 3035, 231-638-0200, marioflores.vandykemortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
And we roll on the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's of Caledonia. We're here every Tuesday night. You can catch us here on the social media outlets for Davenport. Go to dupanthers.com, check out the social media outlets, or go to the football team page, and you can always link in that way to watch us either live at 7 o'clock on Tuesday nights, or you can watch it at your convenience at any time after the show. Coach Sparky McEwen joins us back here to talk specifically about this week's opponent, the home opener, 12 noon. The Meyering Field on the campus of Davenport University against Northern Michigan University. Northern Michigan, they are 1-1 on the year. They lost to a good McHenry squad, 31-24, before beating Wisconsin Oshkosh 13-10 last week. So they've got 2 games into year 1, what jumps out at you when you look at the tape for your opponent this week so far, Coach?
They're truly your, typical Northern Michigan football team. They're going to be extremely physical on defense, and the one of the things about them, now offensively, they've had some key weapons. Okay, their running back tandem, that's there. They could be, probably 2 of the best in our conference. Their quarterback arguably is the best athlete at the quarterback position, next to, the kids over at, Ferris State. They've got, they've added some depth to their receiving core. This is a group that, as advertised, us coaches, we voted those guys to finish, in the higher end of the pack, because they return some sound veterans. But more importantly, when you watch them on film, man, they're just, it's a hard nut to crack, because, if you look at their games, all their games, they come down to the wire. They play you physical. They'll never quit. They seem like they're having fun. It's just an extremely tough group, and our guys know you're going to have to compete for 4 quarters if you want to beat them.
Coach Nystrom's squad always comes in tough and ready to rock and roll on the line of scrimmage. You mentioned the dual threat quarterback Drake Davis. This guy, I know you talked about him last year when you played him a couple times, and you had how many times you've seen in your years already now against Davis and the Wildcats. You seem to have him hemmed in, and then, boy, he busts out on a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, just like that. He runs for a first down. He's outstanding at that.
We already know as a defense you can't stop this dude. You can't stop him. You just hope to contain him a little bit. And the thing about it now, he's become a much smarter scrambler. Before he would scramble to, get those great yards running the football. But now he'll scramble and he'll keep his head up and he'll hit one of those, receivers downfield. So our team knows, we got to stay the course. He's going to beat us on some long plays, some long runs, some long passes. And offensively, when we have an opportunity, we're going to have to counter that with some big plays ourselves. So I don't see this game playing out any different than the last 4 or 5 DU Northern Michigan games, where it comes down to the team pretty much that has the ball last.
You mentioned the running backs, Tyshawn King and Deandre Caldwell. Again, good speed and some strength as well. Between King, Caldwell, and running back quarterback Davis, they all average over 5 yards a carry.
I know. It's like I said, it's one of those deals there with their offense. They're making extremely tough on opponents, and they've always had a very sound defense. But now all of a sudden, they've had some ability to strike from anywhere on the field. So we have to keep it under control. They're a veteran team over there. They've been around for a while. They've got guys that's been in some big games for them, and our young guys are going to have to grow up fast. So the Truman game was actually good for us in playing in one of those close affairs. So our guys know how to play in tough games like that. But, one thing about it, they're going to keep coming at us.
And we've had a few of those games with Northern. It's come down to the very last minute. One's gone one way, one's gone the other way. But they seem to come right down to the end, which often means your kicking game is always important, but in a tight game, the kicking game is even more crucial.
It's extremely crucial. Their kicker, last week, I think it was last week, he nailed a 50-yarder. Here's a guy with a big leg, and they do a good job in the special teams area, and that's what good teams do. They play well in all 3 phases of the game. For us, for instance, we had to clean up some of the turnovers that we've had in that first game. We were fortunate to get out of that game with a win with as many turnovers, as we had. We turn those balls over to the Wildcats, we'll get blown out. Our guys know better, but you just can't turn the balls over to a GLIAC opponent like that.
All right, Coach, give us 2 or 3 keys to Saturday's game against Northern Michigan from your standpoint.
Well, number one, we can't turn it over, Rick. You know, I just stated that. That's going to be really, really important. It's going to be big. You cannot give that offense too many extra possessions. If you do, you're going to lose, you know, the football game. For us on defense, we're going to have to do a great job of trying our best to contain the quarterback, but at the same time, we know about their running game. Okay, they have some guys in that backfield that are physical, and they have some guys that'll shake you. They have some guys that can get tough yards. You know, so that's going to be important. And then the last one, you talked about it. You talked about it. A lot of coaches don't spend much time on it, but we're going to have to do well in the special teams area. We're going to have to find a way, you know, to get yards. We're going to have to find a way in the hidden yardage to win that game as well. So it's going to be warm out. I expect an awesome crowd there, and it's going to be another game that comes down to that last possession.
All right. Well, we look forward to it, and hopefully 1 week from tonight, you and I are sitting right here at the same table talking about the second win for the Panthers in as many tries in the season. Again, you're not thinking GLIAC because even though this is a GLIAC opponent, it's a non-league game against Northern Michigan. Later, we'll play them in about 4 weeks when it is a conference game. Does that mean anything different preparation? For example, obviously the GLIAC game, it means a little bit more. Does that mean, is there anything in your playbook that you say, well, I may hold back 1 or 2 things and save it for the conference game, or is it all hands on deck right away?
Well, you know, Rick, you've known me long enough. You know, there's no shame in my game. We're going to go out and play to win the game, whether it's a championship, whether it's for third place, whether it's for last place. We're going to play our butts off, man. And I look for games in this young, you know, program. We need games. That's why we're the only GLIAC team to play during the COVID season. We're trying to catch up to everyone. Okay, we need to get games under our belt. So our focus is on the Wildcats, and whether it's a non-conference game or a GLIAC game, that doesn't matter to us. You know, we got to go out and compete and play hard and just understand this thing about GLIAC football.
Saturday at 12 noon, Myring Field, Davenport, Northern Michigan, the home opener. The Panthers 1-0 on the season, hoping to make it 2-0. We hope that you can get out there and cheer it on. Again, we'll be back here 1 week from tonight with another edition of the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. For Coach Sparky McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for joining us, and go